and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather. He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at.
Floyd Mayweather has just made headlines again, this time challenging Terence Crawford to ditch his fight with Canelo Alvarez and face him instead. But there's a catch. It would only be an exhibition match. The question is, does Mayweather realize that this fight does nothing for Crawford's legacy? It won't add to his already impressive record or bring him any closer to the International Boxing Hall of Fame. At best, it's just a fast and easy payday for the former undisputed welterweight champion.
One thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money, and he's entertaining. I like it.
Is he, and Floyd
is up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever, keep it real, boy. Keep it real.
I'm never that.
For some reason, Mayweather believes a fight between him and Crawford would generate more money than Crawford versus Canelo. But for Floyd, this isn't just about money. It's about settling the long-running debate over who's the better fighter. With Crawford boasting a record closest to Mayweather's, fans have often compared the two in discussions about the greatest boxer of all time. While the fight could happen someday, it's unlikely right now. Crawford is still active and focused on building his legacy. Plus, he worked hard to secure the Canelo fight, and it's doubtful he'd give up that opportunity.
Always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fighting. I never looked at him like...
There have been many comparisons between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Terence Crawford, but Crawford has never tried to take away Mayweather's well-earned accolades. In fact, he respects Floyd's legacy. When asked about their similarities, Crawford had nothing but praise, acknowledging Mayweather's greatness and even calling him
hit and not get hit, and to make the adjustments that he's made to certain fighters. You know, he's
the pound for pound top fighter in boxing right now is Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, I just truly believe he doesn't have to be under my company for me to give a guy props. I'm not like that. You know, if he's ever free.
Crawford went on to say that while he and Mayweather share some similarities, there are key differences too. He believes he took more risks earlier in his career compared to Floyd. However, he also pointed out that it depends on which version of Mayweather you're talking about, Money Mayweather or Pretty Boy Floyd. Crawford acknowledged that in his early days, Mayweather was an aggressive, seek-and-destroy fighter. But as he moved up in weight and dealt with hand injuries, his style changed since he couldn't rely on the same power against bigger opponents.
I think, you know, I take more chances,
Excuse me, Crawford.
you know, right now. But earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances as well. So, you know...
As Crawford mentioned, he and Mayweather have a lot in common. However, boxing fans and analysts have long debated who the better fighter is. In fact, a recent report even suggested that Crawford would likely come out on top in a head-to-head matchup. That said, when it comes to pure boxing skill, few in history can match the technical mastery of Floyd Mayweather Jr. His ability to control fights and put on defensive clinics has made him one of the greatest to ever step in the ring.
Floyd Mayweather, you talk about money, or do you talk about Pretty Boy? Because Pretty Boy was the seek and destroy fight.
Free, and he want to go to any company. If he's a free agent, I would love to work with him if he's free, because I know that what I can do to take him to that next level. Because with Jim Stanley, raw talent, hell of a fighter. There's a lot of...
Mayweather's sharp jab, precise timing, and exceptional counterpunching allowed him to dismantle a long list of opponents. And he did it across two distinct phases of his career, first as the aggressive Pretty Boy, and later as the defensive mastermind Money Mayweather.
Reach from the left hooks again. The lightning hand speed extraordinary. Left hook drops him, and then he hit his head off it en masse here at the engine.
As Crawford pointed out, Pretty Boy Floyd was the more aggressive version of Mayweather, constantly pressing the action. Later, as Money Mayweather, he became a master tactician, outsmarting opponents with precision and defense. Regardless of which style you prefer, both eras shaped Mayweather into the legend he is today. Meanwhile, boxing fans are still in awe of Crawford's dominant performance against Errol Spence in his last fight, proving once again why he's one of the best in the sport.
Larry Holmes.
Defensive work.
Pernell Whitaker.
Chin.
Crawford's performance against Spence was a masterclass in boxing. Whether it was his powerful jab slicing through Spence's guard, his sharp counterpunching, or his ability to land in tight exchanges, he showcased elite skills. While Crawford has always been a high-level technician, we had never seen him dominate a fighter of Spence's caliber like that before. When it comes to pure boxing ability, Mayweather is in a league of his own. However, Crawford's style is different, explosive, dynamic, and just as effective in its own way. If a prime Crawford faced a prime Mayweather, it would be a chess match of the highest order. Who would establish the jab first? Who would win the battle of counterpunching? It's a debate that will keep boxing fans talking for years.
Footwork.
With so many ways this fight could unfold, it might be fair to call this matchup a draw in terms of skill. We've seen Mayweather time and time again lull his opponents into the center of the ring, where he carefully analyzes their movements, processes the information, and then executes a flawless game plan to break them down. His incredible ring IQ, along with his defensive mastery, made him an undefeated 5-division world champion and a Hall of Famer. On the other hand, Crawford has proven his own elite IQ, becoming undisputed at both junior welterweight and welterweight. While Mayweather was known for his lightning-fast counters, Crawford's ability to attack from unpredictable angles and unleash blistering combinations gives him the edge in speed.
IQ.
Floyd Mayweather.
Legacy.
It's more than one.
Mayweather's record speaks for itself, 50 wins, with 27 by knockout. But when compared to Crawford, the difference in finishing ability becomes clear. Crawford has 40 wins, and an impressive 31 have come by knockout, and he's still adding to that total. Revisiting Crawford's dominance over Spence, he dropped him 3 times on his way to a 9th-round TKO. Spence was no ordinary opponent. He systematically broke down elite fighters like Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Yadenis Ugas to unify the welterweight division. Yet Crawford made it look effortless, with his power playing a major role in that dismantling. Meanwhile, Mayweather's defensive brilliance was second to none. Whether it was tucking into his Philly shell, rolling with punches, or using his free hand to counter with precision, he mastered the art of making opponents miss and making them pay. His blend of defense and counterpunching remains one of the finest in boxing history.
Look at this defense, unbelievable. To young boxing fans that are watching Floyd Mayweather, you're seeing one of the greatest defensive fighter of all time. I mean, that's how strong. You're where and then he's nowhere. You think you... And again, it's not just...
Crawford has impressive defensive skills, but Mayweather elevated the art of defense to near perfection. So how would a dream matchup between these two play out? After a tense first round of feeling each other out, Crawford would likely start as the busier fighter, letting his hands go and landing shots, though many would be absorbed by Mayweather's signature shoulder roll and defensive shell. As the fight progresses into the middle rounds, Mayweather's strategy would begin to take effect. His sharp jab and pinpoint counters would start adding up, allowing him to bank rounds with his signature precision and control.
The way he rolls with punches, look at the way he makes them miss. I mean, here we go. Do a series of punches and nothing really landed. The fight. Well, Mayweather. All right.
However, Crawford's relentless pressure and explosive power could pose real problems for Mayweather. His sharp, whip-like punches might break through Floyd's defense just enough to make an impact, even forcing the legend into some tough moments. As close as this fight would be, Crawford's combination of volume, aggression, and effective pressure might be enough to sway the judges. While Mayweather's technical mastery and defensive brilliance would keep the fight competitive, Crawford's activity and power could edge him toward a narrow points victory over Floyd's calculated style.
Crawford cares about his life. And with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo, fighting Crawford, and Crawford beats Canelo? What do that do for Canelo? I just think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic It makes sense. And less life risking on top of the risk that we risk stepping in there with guys out.
Terence Crawford, a 4-division world champion, has made it clear that he's interested in taking on Canelo Alvarez, the reigning super middleweight king. However, the biggest obstacle isn't skill, it's size. The weight difference between the two fighters presents a serious challenge for Crawford as he considers moving up to face one of boxing's most dominant champions.
Who's trying to take over and start beating the guys around him? He's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy.
Former heavyweight champion Ron Jr. weighed in on the potential showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. While he acknowledged Crawford's exceptional talent and skill, he ultimately leaned toward Canelo as the favorite. The ex-champion pointed to Canelo's punching power as a key factor, suggesting it could be the difference maker in the fight.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying, like, hey, forget about Canelo. That was a tough fight with Madrimov. Go ahead and give Boots a shot. Give Boots the chance. But Eddie's saying, hey, I think Crawford's saying, hey, give me the Canelo fight, or I'm not fighting. I'm done.
Why? What he got to prove to Boots? Boots trying to take over and start beating the guys around.
Ron Jr.'s analysis highlights the biggest challenge for Crawford, neutralizing Canelo's devastating power. If Crawford can use his technical skills, maintain distance, and avoid Canelo's heavy shots, he could have a real shot at pulling off a historic upset. For now, though, this matchup remains a dream scenario for fans. Canelo is currently focused on preparing for his next fight, keeping his attention locked on the immediate challenges ahead.
Guys around him, he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy. Why would he? Bud looking to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
And now you want me to do something. Canelo's not coming down to 60.
No. It's Crawford who wants it. He wants the chance to prove it. He's the best.
I get it.
This era.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right.
And and again, that's one of what's happening on a shakeup of the new world order, where you got fighters that's really 54 at best.
IBF interim champion William Skull has recently been mentioned as a potential opponent for Canelo Alvarez. However, this wasn't always the focus for Roy Jones Jr. The Hall of Fame fighter, now a promoter, trainer, and respected analyst, had previously outlined scenarios where he believed both Terence Crawford and David Benavidez could defeat Alvarez. Interestingly, Jones later shifted his stance, reconsidering his earlier prediction.
Crawford, I'm not sure about that because Crawford does have punching power and shock, but I think Canelo's a little big. He showed tonight that he's pretty big, so I probably would rather see.
Two-time super middleweight champion David Benavidez has been pushing for a shot at Canelo Alvarez for the past 2 years, eager to prove himself against the division's top star. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford, once widely regarded as the best welterweight in the world, is willing to move up 2 weight classes for a chance to face Canelo. However, Alvarez has downplayed the significance of a potential win over Crawford, suggesting it wouldn't add much to his legacy. Despite this, many believe Crawford has a legitimate chance of pulling off the upset if the fight were to happen.
Charlo fight Crawford first, and then see how that goes. If he does good against Charlo with the weight, then let's see him come up and fight Canelo. Yes, but not right now. I want to see Crawford come up with some weight classes and show he can be dominant at 54. You understand me?
That fight will go Crawford and
Crawford won a pound best fighter fight.
To take on a Canelo who can actually fight a cruiserweight and maybe give a cruiserweight, especially at this moment, all the hell they can want. You can't hurt a guy like Canelo, and you don't have height and depth to be able to at least have something to work with, then we're going to see another, what they say, boring fight, not say a smart fight.
Roy Jones Jr., a former 4-division champion who moved across multiple weight classes during his career, believes Canelo Alvarez should remain at super middleweight. In his view, Continuing at 168 pounds is the best path forward for Alvarez as he looks to cement his legacy.
You know, being that you obviously, again, appealing Team Crawford, can you confirm? Are we going to see that fight? Has it been made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo. Listen how I said it.
Hey, are we getting this confirmation here first?
You understand?
Canelo Alvarez has reportedly booked the T-Mobile Arena for September 13, 2025, for a possible fight against Terence Crawford. This follows his tradition of fighting around Mexican Independence Day. Last year, he fought Edgar Berlanga at the same venue on September 14th.
You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So, it's possible.
Canelo Alvarez is rumored to face Terence Crawford in a potential super fight later in 2025. Both are elite pound-for-pound fighters, making this a highly anticipated matchup. While Canelo is aging, he remains boxing's biggest star. However, fans have criticized his recent opponent choices, believing he's avoiding top challengers like David Benavidez.
I understand the money grab. I understand it's about the bag. Crawford ain't 26. Another major network is saying they packing their bags up. You're gonna see a lot of desperate moves jumping off. You're gonna see a lot of very unrealistic, unorthodox, crazy thinking, crazy gossip.
You know, being that you obviously, again, appealing Team Crawford, can you confirm? Are we going to see that fight? Has it been made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo. Listen how I said it.
Hey, are we getting this confirmation here first?
You understand? Yeah, it's confirmed. Man, what?
Say less.
Crawford versus Canelo, not the other way around. Team Crawford stand up, pound for pound, the best in the world.
Despite the criticism, Canelo Alvarez continues to sell out arenas, no matter the opponent. His highly anticipated fight against Terence Crawford is expected to take place on September 13th at the T-Mobile Arena. However, Canelo likely won't stay inactive until then. According to Boxing Scene, 4 fight dates have been reserved in Las Vegas: March 22nd, March 29th, April 5th, and May 3rd. The opponent for the May 3rd event remains unknown, sparking speculation about Canelo's next move.
I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that. No disrespect him, but you know, sometimes it's a little crazy that people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big.
The May 3rd date is one to watch, as Canelo has consistently fought on Cinco de Mayo weekend since 2019, except for 2020. With 3 of those fights at the T-Mobile Arena, the pattern is clear. However, with the Crawford fight looming, Canelo might opt for a longer break to stay fresh. That said, he rarely stays inactive for long. If he does fight in May, IBF super middleweight champion William Skull seems to be the leading candidate, as talks between his team and Canelo's camp have been ongoing since early this year.
Big, and everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford, fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no make sense when you guys say that right now. At the end of the day, I don't wanna have great.
At 34, Canelo Alvarez is still at the top of his game, but he knows retirement isn't too far off. In a recent chat with Ring Magazine, he admitted he doesn't know exactly when he'll retire but believes 38 might be the right age to start considering it. Canelo reflected on the risks he's taken throughout his career, taking on tough fights even when he didn't have to. He loves challenges and constantly pushes himself, moving up and down in weight to prove his greatness. While he doesn't dwell on his accomplishments, his trainer often reminds him of his impressive list of world champions defeated.
Named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. Everything is possible. We'll see. We want to talk about it, sit down really well and figure out something.
Canelo Alvarez last defeated Edgar Berlanga in September 2024, and reports suggest his rumored fight with Terence Crawford is close to becoming a reality in 2025. However, the fight's future remains uncertain, as both fighters have existing commitments and negotiations still need to be finalized. Interestingly, only one fighter has faced both Canelo and Crawford in the pro ring, Amir Khan. Having suffered stoppage losses to both, Khan has already shared his thoughts on how this potential showdown might play out.
What do I think of that fight?
Yeah.
I think that, everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big for Crawford. It'll be a tall task.
Middleweight contender Kyrone Davis, who has sparred with both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, recently shared his thoughts on their potential fight. Speaking to Mill City Boxing, Davis believes it would be a tough challenge for Crawford and favors Canelo to win. He pointed out Canelo's size and durability, saying, "Canelo is a big guy, and it's going to be a lot. He can take a punch, so Crawford won't hurt him with one shot. Maybe cut an eye or bother him to the body, but not enough to stop him."
It'll be a lot you have to. It'll be a lot to get that victory based on size alone. Not that size wins fights, but you got a guy that got size and skill. It'll be hard.
Davis added that for Crawford to have a chance, he'd need to land clean shots and attack the body, but it would still be a huge challenge. Everyone knows Canelo can really fight. He sets traps and makes it difficult. Nothing is impossible in boxing, but if I had to bet, I'd put my money on Canelo. He clarified that he's not discrediting Crawford's skills but believes Canelo's size and power could be the difference, even suggesting that Alvarez might stop Crawford with a single shot. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather's reasons for calling out Crawford for an exhibition fight remain unclear.
He's Crawford, but you never know. You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down.
Eddie Hearn previously suggested that Floyd Mayweather turns to exhibition fights when he's low on cash, despite Mayweather denying it. His recent challenge to Terence Crawford has sparked questions about his true motives. For now, the boxing world eagerly awaits Crawford's response and the official confirmation of his highly anticipated fight with Canelo Alvarez, a showdown driven by his pursuit of greatness. That's all for now. For the latest boxing news and updates, subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you never miss out on quality content.